I'm really excited about today's tutorial because I got a special request for hoop earrings, and I always love bringing you special requests like the wire wrapped ring tutorial that we did several weeks ago. I'll put another link for that in case you missed it. This is on the menu for today. Wonderful, simple hoop earrings that you can, obviously I made these in copper, but I also started a pair yesterday in sterling silver. So I'm going to show you how to make, along with these wonderful hoops, an echo of the same thing in the ear wire. And you know me, I usually do the same old ear wires for everything. But I figured since, you know, hoops are kind of basic, and what else is there to it but a circle? And I thought just to echo that theme, that simplicity, the minimalistic look, but still carry it on into the ear wire, let's make a ear wire that coordinates with it. I added to this one this shell teardrop, and then I cannot find the bag of these shells to do the matching one. I love how the back side has this, it's darker on the back, white on the front. I love that. I'm going to find them. They're around here somewhere. You've seen my studio, so you can understand why. That I put some abalone shell on this one. I've always loved abalone with a little bit different of a mounting system that kind of just worked with the hole that's in this. Obviously, it's not like a traditional bead where the bead, you know, the hole's going through the bead and you just bring it up and wire wrap it. I'm like, well, how am I going to do that? So I kind of came up with this other way of mounting that on there. Definitely going to show you how to make this loop, how to make this wonderful ear wire. You basically are going to need a ton of tools. Everything, the traditional ones. The only extra one is that I did use a bracelet mandrel to form this. Of course, anything you might have will do. The only thing, one of the reasons why I chose this, because it had the inches. I know how many inches this was around, and that's going to come into play about how you will figure out how much wire that you're going to need. So that, and I did use a large wrap and tap plier to make the ear wires, but anything that's comparable to this size, which is, it's around 19 to 20 millimeters. So something like that is going to do you. But the rest of the tools are just your standard tools. I used 16 gauge for the form of the hoop, and then a standard 20 for the ear wires, of course. I wanted to show you just a glimpse. Last week, I went into about the tumbler, and I wanted to show you the difference. This one I have not polished at all. I haven't determined yet if I'm going to put it in the tumbler. I don't think I will because of this delicate, the way I've mounted it is kind of delicate, but I have not polished this at all. This is still rough from me sanding it down and getting all the gouges and whatnot out of it. But this is a hoop that has gone through the tumbler, and what a difference it has made. No effort whatsoever. Throw it in there with a shot and some some soap, and let it run for an hour, and you've got a beautiful hoop earring that's also been strengthened by that process. If you missed that introduction to the tumbler, check out my most recent video from last week. I'll put a link in there for that as well. Let's go over a simple formula that you're going to use to find out how much wire that you'll need. Again, I'm using 16 gauge dead soft to create these lovely hoops. And so for this, I cut 9 inches. I had left 5 inches, obviously, for our form, and then I cut 2 inches on either side to form the loop and the wrappings. And that just gives us extra to work with, to manipulate our shape towards the end. You don't want to cut it so short and then you don't have anything to work with and you're left with little stubs. It's very difficult to bend a stubby piece of wire. So that's why I am cutting 9 inches. You measure whatever you're going to use. You'll get that amount of inches and then leave yourself 1/2 inch to 2 inches on either side. So that's how I came up with 9 inches. I'm going to pull out just a rough guesstimate here off my spool and give a light polishing and to remove all that tarnish. quick cut of 9 inches. You have 9 inches on that side. And it doesn't need to be flush cut, but just get in the habit of flush cutting. All right, it's going to be a little difficult to show you, but I'm going to do my very best, because when I was making these, when not trying to record it, I am moving this form all over the place to try to get it to do what I want it to do. So I'm going to do my best. And what I'm doing here is getting a rough middle and bring them around. And you can tell if it's in the middle or not by if the ends meet in a nice point. So I need to bring it there. That's a little better. It's just kind of a rough middle. Remember, we cut those extra inches on the ends, the 1.5 or 2 inches. So you got plenty to work with. We don't want to struggle with not having enough. So now I have it on my form like this. And we are going to bring this wire straight up. And I'll give it a little head start by taking my hand and bending it up, because it's a little hard to get the way I'm positioned. Now, if I was doing this on my own without trying to record, it wouldn't be a big deal. But I'm trying to keep it so that you can see what I'm doing, and bending straight up out of our mandrel or whatever you're using. At this point, this is a little different than what you're going to see in other tutorials for hoop earrings, because I'm a little picky. I will show you in just a minute why I'm doing this. I'm taking some chain nose pliers. I'm coming out from where this wire is sticking out, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters. If you can see that. Oh, that was better. 2 or 3 millimeters out. Just grabbing that firmly, letting go, taking it off. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit so it doesn't come out of our pliers. Now this bend is going to be straight out to the back. So this is what we have at this point. I've got one wire. Well, it's kind of coming up from the top, coming straight out. And then we have one coming out the back. This is what you want at this point. And Carrie, why in the world are you doing that? Well, let me show you why. Okay. Here is like your standard hoop that you this is fine that if you want to do this is totally fine. You just begin the wraps and wrapping around this upper wire, which is fine. But it makes these two wires like off center. One seems to be more over this way, and this wire is on this more side of the wrappings. And I wanted to find a way where I didn't also have this little boop boop coming down here. I want it like this. I want it straight all the way across and a nice seamless bottom. And so I'm going to do my best to show you how I did that, and this is why I'm doing what I'm going to show you right now. Taking bail pliers or your round nose that achieves a 2 millimeters, or, we just need a nice little wrap to go around the 16 gauge wire. I'm going to put it right in this bend like that. Let me change my hand position here. And then just start bending around that small bail, the 2 millimeter bail. That will probably be enough. And look what that did. It made us a little pocket that when we go to bend this around, it's just gonna slide right in there. Well, it's already slid in there, but you know what I'm saying. It makes this little pocket, which is so perfect to make our wraps. Now, on my own, I put this back in here, and this is where I make the wraps, but it's a little bit difficult to show you. So I'm going to try and hold this in my hands and show you making the wraps. I'm just going to go extra slow. Grabbing it tight and twisting at the same time. Just going slowly. Where's my front? This is my front, so I need to do one more wrap. Sometimes I give a little another helping hand by just turning it with my fingers. All right, now, oh, I got to bring it around to the back. Bring it around to the back, Carrie. I can't trim it there. See how easy that is? You will get better. But see, right now, it's doing this little boom, boom right here, and I don't like that. So at this point, I'm getting ready to show you in just a few seconds what I do to get rid of that. Trim off this excess and tuck in the end. Some chain nose pliers. And I will take this moment to sand down and smooth down that edge. All right, now at this point, we're getting ready to make this loop, but not quite yet. Go ahead and take some chain nose pliers and just grab the wrappings that we just did and bend backwards, making kind of a 90-degree. It doesn't matter, just something backwards like that. And at this point, very strange, I know, put it back on your form. Take your nylon pliers. I told you I always do that. The nylon hammer, and hammer right on top of those wraps. At this point also, you can tell where you got some, you just see how this is a little, I don't like that either. This really, using this mandrel really shows you. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm just taking these nylon hammers and I'm hammering down into this ledge, fixing any wobbles and strengthening it at the same time. Someone asked in a recent video, do I like this stepped mandrel, or do I like the one, or should I get the one that is smooth all the way around? When I tell you, for this project, having the step in here is absolutely wonderful. I'm going to do a little bit. You will find that making hoops is a little fiddly, and you just need to keep working with it until you get it the way you want it.
2 hours later.
Okay, that's a little better. It got most of that out. We're still going to work with that. I'm still going to be editing that. There's a little wobble in here that I don't like. You may very well run into the same kind of thing, and it's good to know, what do you do if you have that problem? Now, this is just me being picky. This is not necessary to get this all even like I showed you in that silver pair, but that's the way I like it. I am putting my pliers in there, and I'm just pressing and bending down to get a little more straight across. I'm just a little particular, I guess. I really want to go in and make sure everything is perfect.
1 eternity later.
I got that looking pretty good. We're going to adjust it some more when we do some hammering. At this point, I'm going to show you how to make this loop, the little loop at the top where you can attach your ear wires. I'm going to put my bail pliers in there like this, holding it firmly. It's going to move on me. It always moves. As soon as I go to press it, just press and form it around. Turn your pliers and bring that extra around. Now see how it's a little off to the side? Just turn the pliers a little bit and line it up. There you go. And now we are just in the right place to do trim in the excess. Now this is the one you do want it flush cut. I'm keeping this flush end towards the end that I want, or the side that I want flush cut. If I can get it in there. And there we go. We're on the right track. Hammering is very important to successful hoop earrings. I'm going to be using both nylon and the chasing hammers. Start with the nylon, just going on around and flattening the entire piece. Maybe. I will also take that nylon and right on the wraps. It's going to help mush them together, make them stronger, all that good stuff. All right. Time for some texturing. Now, this is optional, but I do love a little texture. Let me remind you. Oh, that one I didn't texture. Let me remind you what this looks like. It's just a lovely wrong side carry. It just adds a little something to it. When I put through the tumbler, it's obviously way more sparkly. Look at the difference. Very nice. So if you would like to do some little texturing, start at the opposite side of the wrapping. This is going to give you a nice even shape, because hammering can distort your piece if you just all willy-nilly all over the place. And turn it around so I can get to the other side. I'm just doing it lightly. That's what I'm kind of going for on this piece. You can really whack it hard if you want. Now, at this point, put it back on. Now see how it's gotten a little out of shape. So put it back on your form, taking your nylon hammers. If you see any bowings, or maybe your hoop is looking a little eggy, you can just take your fingers and just do some gentle squeezing in those areas, and that will help a lot. I think that's a really great shape we got going on, and it is as even across the top as much as I can get it. You know, it's wire wrap jewelry. It's unique. Every piece is different, and not every piece is going to come out perfectly just the way you want it, but that's pretty good. Pretty good shape. Now that we've made these lovely hoop earrings that you can attach whatever you would like to the bottom or leave it plain, let's get ready and make these lovely matching an echo of our hoop earring, these lovely hoop ear wires. We're going to need 3.5 inches of 20 gauge wire. Let me give just a little polish here. 3.5 inches. How I did it, I did use these wrap and tap pliers that measure 19 to 20 millimeters. You could use something like a ring mandrel if you have a ring mandrel. I put that on there. It came down to around the size 10 for these ear wires. So there's, whatever, you might even not want it that big. You can do a smaller one. I think I need to turn it around this way. I've got myself all right, so just put it in there and just press around your bail. Now I'm going to have to move it so I can keep pressing. Just pressing that around so you get something like this, like a big fat 6. This, obviously, this round part is becoming the ear wire, but this little excess that we have over here is what's going to become this. I don't know if you even noticed, there's like a little spiral. That's what's attaching to this lovely hoop earring. Again, I'm back to my bail pliers using that smallest bail of 2 millimeters right on the end of this tail that's coming out. Start your wrap. And as it begins to wrap in on itself, this is where I'll take it off of the pliers. And I'm holding it a little bit towards the back of the pliers here. And I'm guiding with this left hand. Going slow, no rush here. Guiding with my left hand, slowly turning with my right hand, holding firmly until that end of the wire kind of comes back to the top, or what would be facing upwards on your ear wire. I mean, you can go more than that, but that seems to make it nice. Maybe just a little bit more. Just enough where you can slide your ear in. It has, and you really get the effect of the hoop. It's not cut short. I mean, you're getting the full effect of a hoop to echo this hoop earring. Lovely. More bench block, more hammering, even for the ear wires. It's really important for ear wires. Nylon, tapping all the way around. I will also use the chasing hammer and flatten this out. Nice. Just the way I wanted it. We're going to take our earring that we just made, twist open our loop. Make sure that we have the front of the earring and the front of our ear wire. Just slide that in there. I mean, come on. Now it does take a little more energy and a little more wire to make those ear wires, but it's, wow. I mean, those are not your average ear wires now, are they? Wow. Lovely. So here's the final look of what you could achieve with this. How cute would this be with a Christmas ornament hanging off the bottom of it, or something for Christmas? Really would be lovely. So many options to make a classic hoop. Classic, or make it personalized for you or what you have going on, your outfit, your holiday, special occasion. I hope you enjoyed this special request tutorial. It was my pleasure to bring this to you. And if you have something that you want to learn about, or you have a question about, please leave it in the comments. I will do my best to answer your question or bring that tutorial to you directly. And if you saw the difference in what a tumbler can do, check out my recent video from last week and learn about how you can get this shine with no effort whatsoever on your piece. Until next week, I hope you have a wonderful time making jewelry.